Our subject for this evening, a personal God. What did I say? Genesis 1, reading verse 1. Now you shouldn't have to look. Say for me, Genesis 1 verse 1, in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth. Now let's read that again microscopically. In the beginning God did what? Created what? The heaven and the earth. The question may be asked, how did he do that? We go to verse 3. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. We learn immediately that God is an intelligent being. God is not energy, because energy does not speak. God is not an essence. God is not a vapor. God is not energy. God is an intelligent personality. God said. And he is a personality with a word that is powerful. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. You look at verse 6, it's the same thing. And God said, let there be a firmament. Verse 9, and God said, let the waters under the heavens be gathered together unto one place. Look at verse 11. And God said, let the earth bring forth grass. Verse 14, and God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven. So we are introduced to a God who speaks. So God is not a tree. He's not a rock. He's not an animal. They don't speak. An intelligent being possesses the faculty of speech. That's why we were made in God's image. The animals were not. So we serve an intelligent God. He speaks. Let's go to John 5. John chapter 5. We'll read verse 37. What does that say? And the Father also which have sent me hath borne witness of me. Keep reading. Ye have what? Neither heard his voice, come on, nor at any time, nor seen his shape. Now, what we discovered in Genesis 1, Christ mentioned in John 5, God has a voice. Well, we know that from Genesis 1. But Christ says, you have neither heard his voice at any time, nor seen his shape. God the Father has a shape. He has a form. And we can come to some fairly tantalizing conclusions about God's form because we were made in his image. Are you with me? We were made in God's image. In the book Patriarchs and Prophets, page 45, paragraph 2, Ellen White writes, man was to bear God's image both in outward resemblance and in character. Now, Moses said to God in Exodus 33, show me thy glory. And God told him in verse 20, they can no man see my face and live. God has a face. In Exodus 33, in verse 23, after God told Moses, I'll put you in the cleft of the rock. And he said in verse 23, I will take away my hand, and thou shalt see my back parts, but my face shall not be seen. So in verse 23 of Exodus 33, we have three things mentioned about God. He has a face. He has a hand. He has a back part as opposed to his front. What am I trying to tell you? God is a personal being. When you pray, don't pray to a doctrine. Don't pray to a teaching. Don't pray to an idea. Pray to a person. When you're in difficulty and in trouble, talk to a person. God is a person. Are you with me? Go to Micah chapter 7. You'll read verse 18. Read it with me. Who is a God like unto thee that does what? That pardoneth iniquity and passeth by the transgression of the remnant of his heritage. Keep reading. He retaineth not his anger forever. Keep reading. He delighteth in mercy. Now, what do we learn about God in that verse? He's what? I can't hear you. He pardons. Energy doesn't pardon you. A vapor can't pardon you. Electricity doesn't pardon you. He pardons. That's a moral act. What else do you learn about God from that verse? Well, he delights. So we have two things. God can experience and express delight. And one of the things he delights in is being merciful. Let me say it again. God expresses delight. And one of the objects upon which he expresses delight, or one of the reasons he delights, is in showing mercy. The verse also says God gets angry. God is a personal, intelligent being. So is also the Holy Ghost and the Son, where we know about the Son. Let's look at God a little more closely. Go to Hebrews 1. Hebrews 1, we'll read verse 3. Who being the brightness of his glory and the express image of his person. God is a person. He has a personality. Now, I need to stress this because for many people, God is a distant idea. He's a distant concept. And even if we think he's a personality, he is a distant and far removed personality. God is not far removed.